Welcome to Cryptic Chronicles, where the shadows speak and the stories never sleep. The username with no origin. When the app first launched, it was dismissed as just another fleeting craze. Ghost Summon X, the listing called it, complete with grainy promotional footage. A pale, glitching apparition hovering over a phone on a darkened desk. The tagline promised, "Summon your ghost. Share the video. Scare your friends." For those bored with filters and face swaps, it was irresistible. Bryce downloaded it on a Friday evening. Campus was empty, dorm rooms half lit. He followed the instructions. Open the app, place your phone on a flat surface, draw the summoning sigil on the screen, and whisper the ghost's name 3 times. He did so in his cramped dorm, half laughing at himself. "Maris," he intoned, twice. On the third, the room plunged into static. His phone's screen flickered and went black. His heart thudded. Nothing happened. Bryce shrugged and tapped the power button. The phone rebooted normally. He opened Ghost Summon X. No sign of failure. The sigil intact. The counters showing 15 more summons to complete the ritual. A progress bar glowed. He exhaled. Over the next week, Bryce and his friends, Jenna, Malcolm, and Chris, took turns summoning. Videos circulated on group chat. Darkened rooms, whispers in the night, a faint silhouette glitching in corners. The reactions were mild. A gust of wind, a tap on the shoulder, laughter when Malcolm's skeleton filter flickered like a living ghost. The app encouraged sharing. Post your video online with the tag Ghost Summon X and gain points. 10 points unlocked the next stage of the ritual, a digital key etched in crimson. As they collected points, the app's tone subtly shifted. Notifications arrived at odd hours. "Are you ready for stage 3? Or, "Another user failed to finish. Beware the burned username." The phrase intrigued them. A leaderboard displayed a single name in charred letters. VCORAXX. 0 profile, no avatar, no friend connections. The burned username. Bryce swiped his finger. "Who is this?" he asked the group chat. Jenna quipped, "Probably some troll who messed up the ritual." She posted her summoning clip. Behind her reflection in the mirror, a pale hand leaned over. She yelped, paused recording, then laughed. Probably a glitch. But the burned username's progress bar was full. Completed all summoning stages. Beneath their name was a message. "Whatever you do, don't finish the game." Malcolm stared at the screen. "What does that mean?" Chris shrugged. "They're messing with us." That night, Bryce lay awake, staring at his ceiling. His phone buzzed. A notification from Ghost Summon X. The app was open to a new message. VCORAXX wants to challenge you to finish the ritual. Accept. 2 buttons glowed. Accept. Decline. He hesitated. Decline would lock him out of the next stage. Accept would continue. His finger hovered. He swiped accept. The sigil reappeared, blood red. The instructions paced out. Stage 6. Invite the ghost into your world fully. To complete the game, you must draw the sigil on your own skin and whisper your name. A chill crawled along his spine. Drawing on skin? Whispering your own name? Jenna and Chris had reached stage 5 and stopped. They texted frantically. "Bryce, stop, don't do it." But the accept button had burned his print. He was in. Bryce's reflection in the dark window rippled. Outside, the campus was silent. He opened the settings of the app. No exit button. The home screen ghost flickered, digital eyes glowing. He tried deleting the app. It refused. Uninstall grayed out. He turned off his phone. Ghost Summon X restarted itself on boot. Panic rose. He called Malcolm, who suggested factory reset. Bryce factory reset his phone at 3 a.m., fingers trembling. When the setup screen prompted him to reinstall apps, Ghost Summon X was already there. Icon smudged as though burned. He fled to Jenna's room. 3 doors down. She opened the door, her face pale. "It's here too," she whispered. Her phone burned with the app's icon. "We need to finish it," Jenna said. "If we don't, it never ends. Or we die trying," Bryce replied. Malcolm and Chris joined by flashlight. The group sat in Jenna's room. Phones gathered. "One of us has to complete it," Malcolm said. "Maybe that frees the rest." They agreed. Bryce volunteered. He drew the sigil on his forearm with Jenna's eyeliner, the jagged lines burning red on his skin. He whispered his name, Bryce Mendez. The letters smoldered as though branded. The air thickened. The window rattled. From darkness, a shape emerged, a girl with hollow eyes and lips cracked like old paint. Her hair drifted as if underwater. The burned username. "You finished," she whispered. Her voice was multiple voices, layered. Children's laughter and adult sobs entwined. Bryce's heart pounded. "What do you want?" She cocked her head. "Sorry I warned you." Her form flickered. "Now you'll understand why." She reached out. Bryce felt a cold blade scrape his arm where the sigil lay. Pain flared, and his vision blurred. Jenna screamed. Bryce gripped the edge of the desk. The ghost hovered inches away, eyes on the sigil. "Complete the ordeal," she crooned. "Someday someone else will find the final stage, and they'll finish the game." Layers of static cracked through the room. Malcolm lunged, grabbing Bryce's arm. Jenna tore at the sigil with trembling fingers, skin tearing. Bryce cried out. Chris pounded the ghost's image on the screen. The app flashed. Final step. Survive the ghost. The ghost's laughter rose to a cacophony. Light exploded. The phones shattered outward, glass cracking. When Bryce opened his eyes, he was lying on the hallway floor. Morning sun filtered through windows. Students passed by, startled. Jenna and the others lay unconscious nearby. Ghost Summon X was gone from their phones. The sigil on Bryce's arm was a faint scar. He staggered up. Recovery teams assembled. Counselors asked questions. The 4 citied sleepwalking blackout. No mention of ghosts. In the days that followed, Bryce noticed something. His reflection sometimes drifted out of sync, blinking where he did not, tilting its head. At night, he heard distant laughter in the static of his old phone speakers. Ghost Summon X still existed somewhere in the ether, and in dark app stores, the burned username waited for the next challenger. Weeks later, Bryce discovered that he was not the only one touched by the ritual. A clandestine forum had sprung up, where survivors shared cryptic messages and fragmented videos. Each bore the scar of the sigil, etched into flesh or memory, and each warned newcomers away from completion. Some claimed the burned username posted replies. A flash of distorted text in the deep comments offering hints or taunts. One message, signed VCore X, read simply, "You think it's over because you woke up. It begins when reality resists." At night, Bryce's phone, long since restored, flickered back to life with Ghost Summon X's icon, glowing red. He tapped it, and the app opened to a black screen. Then in scorched letters, his own username appeared. Bryce Mendez, burned as if scorched into code. A final, unread notification blinked. Stage Infinity. Embrace the burn. He pressed accept. Room 6 doesn't exist. There were whispers in Hawthorne Hall about a door that shouldn't be there. They said Room 6 didn't exist, at least not on any map, in any logbook, or through any official record. Eleanor Fairchild arrived at St. Cecilia's boarding school on a crisp autumn afternoon, beneath a sky the color of old pewter. Her suitcase felt heavy in her hands as she climbed the stone stairs of the East Wing, where the dormitories lay. A taut hush hovered in the corridors. Students glanced down the hallway, exchanging knowing looks before dropping their voices to a whisper. Room 6. That night, Eleanor lay in bed, listening to the soft creaks and sighs of the ancient building. She imagined flickering lanterns and the echo of footsteps that weren't her own. Sleep came slowly, lulled by distant laughter in the halls and the patter of rain against the mullioned windows. When she finally slipped into a dream of classrooms shifting into labyrinths, she woke to the chill of darkness and a faint light under the door of the neighboring room. Curiosity thrummed through her. She slipped out of bed, wrapped in a sweater, and tiptoed to the door. Number 5 was printed neatly on its brass plaque. Beyond it lay her classmate Beatrice's room, and tonight the door was ajar. Warm lamplight spilled outward, but the room was empty, furnishings undisturbed, only the curtains drifting in the night breeze. Eleanor returned to her bed, heart pounding. The next day, over porridge and stale bread in the dining hall, she asked Beatrice about the light. Beatrice's eyes darkened, and she shook her head. I went home for the weekend. Room 6. Don't go looking for it, she murmured, her voice so low Eleanor almost missed the warning. Why not? Beatrice only shrugged and fell silent. Others joined in hushed anecdotes. A boy who tried to hang a nameplate and found only blank stone. A girl who heard scratching behind the wall and swore she saw pale fingers through the cracks. The late-night footsteps that stopped outside whoever asked too many questions. That night, Eleanor walked the corridor with purpose. She counted room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 7. The wall between 5 and 7 was smooth stone, mortar laid with such old precision that mortar lines were nearly invisible. She ran her hand along it. Cool stone, nothing more. Still, her mind traced rumor after rumor until she paused at a patch where the stones seemed slightly darker. Pressing gently, she heard a faint click. She steadied her breath and pushed harder. One block shifted inward, revealing a hidden seam. Heart hammering, she located the master block above. Pressed that too. The wall grumbled, and a segment swung inward like a concealed door. Beyond was a narrow passage, cloaked in darkness and an odor of damp earth. She fetched her phone and clicked on the flashlight. The corridor stretched a dozen paces. At the end, a heavy iron door riveted with black studs. No plaque, no number, just smooth metal that absorbed her light, reflecting nothing. Eleanor's hand trembled as she slid an arm through the rusted handle. The door groaned open, revealing a single room lit by a globe of luminescent fungus that cast sickly green light. The walls pulsed, as though breathing. Shadows pulsed with them. In the center lay a dais, carved with undecipherable sigils. Atop it, a shape curled into itself like a grotesque husk. Thin, elongated limbs folded beneath a torso that was too tall, too emaciated. A head, malformed, bore too many facets. Eyes that glittered like spilled mercury, and a mouth that drooped at impossible angles. Eleanor stumbled back. There was no beating of a heart, no ragged breath. Yet the figure stirred. Its eyes opened in unison, boring into her. They reflected her panic, her very soul. She lunged for the door, but it slammed shut. Darkness swallowed her light. A rasp like gravel across stone reverberated in the silence. "You found me," a voice hissed. "Everywhere and nowhere." She fumbled for phone, thumb grazing screen. A glow returned, illuminating the creature perched atop the dais. Its limbs unfurled, revealing claws that scraped the stone floor. Eleanor ran, heart roaring in her ears. The passage led back to the dorm, but the door resisted, until at last it yielded with a crash. She burst into the corridor, slamming the secret door shut behind her. Her breath came in frantic rasp. She pressed her ear to the stone. Silence. The next morning, Eleanor knew what she must do. Armed with determination, she marched to the headmistress's office, report in hand. But the headmistress, a stern woman with iron gray hair, offered only a sad smile. "Children's imaginations run wild," she said slowly. "Now go to class, Miss Fairchild." Eleanor stepped out, face burning, but her resolve did not falter. She returned to the wall that hid room 6. The stones were seamless again, as though no secret ever lay beneath. She traced the wall, memorizing details. For the rest of term, she watched. The hall felt empty, haunted by absence. Other students whispered of vanished friends, drained of color and mind, eyes empty like hunted animals. Rumors hinted at strange lights in the east wing. At night, doors that shouldn't exist creaked open. On the final night before term ended, Eleanor returned alone, slipped the hidden seam, and found the passage once more. The creature awaited on its dais, but this time, its eyes brimmed with curiosity, not malice. "You're brave," it said. Eleanor lifted her chin. "I need to know what you are," she whispered. The creature's form shimmered, flesh rippling like heat above a desert. For an instant, it showed her a tapestry of worlds, echoes of lives it had consumed, stories erased from time. "Not human," it murmured. "Never was. I came from the spaces between, the corridors you cannot see." Eleanor felt a sorrow deeper than fear. "What do you want?" she asked. Its mouth curled into a semblance of a smile. "To be remembered." She understood. She reached into her pocket, withdrew a notebook, and began to write. The creature's story, its form, its ancient name that twisted the tongue. By dawn, she had filled pages. The creature stood silently as she placed the notebook on the dais. "Remember me," it whispered, with a soft glow. It dissolved into spores of light, drifting into the fungus globes, leaving only silence. Eleanor returned to her dorm as the East Wing slept. She slipped the notebook among her belongings and walked into the new day, carrying the memory of Room 6 and its inhuman occupant into the world, ensuring it would never be forgotten. The 404 bus. Legends whispered through the dimly lit alleys of the city speak of the 404 bus, a route that appears only to the broken-hearted and the desperate. No signposts mark its stop, no schedule lists its times, and yet those in the depths of despair sometimes glimpse its headlights winding through empty streets at midnight. Jacob Mendez was one such soul. He had lost his job, his girlfriend left him, and bills piled at his feet like the leaves rustling on the pavements outside his shabby apartment. A rainy evening found him wandering without purpose through the neon haze of downtown, hoping for a sign, any sign, that life might take a turn. As the clock chimed 12, he emerged onto Meridian Avenue. The rain had eased to a drizzle, and street lamps cast shaky cones of light onto the wet asphalt. He paused by a weathered pole that held nothing but a faded sticker reading "Route Unavailable." He chuckled. Even the transit authority seemed to mock his failures. Then, around the corner, he heard it. The hiss of brakes, the hum of an engine, and the pull of something both mechanical and impossibly alive. He turned, and through the mist saw a bus. Its number was illuminated in pale blue, 404. The sign flickered, no destination, no driver name, just the haunting glow of the digits. The bus door sighed open. Inside was empty, rows of seats draped in threadbare fabric, overhead lights dim and wavering. Jacob stepped forward, compelled by a force he could not name. The door closed behind him, and the bus lurched into motion without a driver's hand. He sank into a seat near the back. Through the windows, the city bent and blurred into streams of light. They passed familiar streets that dissolved into deserted roads, buildings that warped in and out of focus. The air smelled faintly of cold metal and old wood, like an abandoned depot in winter. Jacob glanced at the other passengers. 2 seats down sat a woman in a crimson coat, her face hidden by a wide-brimmed hat. Across the aisle, a man in a Letterman jacket stared out the window, his eyes hollow. At the very front, a young girl clutched a battered teddy bear, rocking slightly as if lulled by a lullaby only she could hear. He attempted conversation. "Hey, do you know where this bus goes?" But no one answered. Their bodies were present, but their souls seemed trapped in a haze between worlds. The bus rolled on, deeper into the night. Jacob felt a chill creep into his bones. He reached for the cord above his head and pulled. The bus hissed to a stop. A door opened up ahead, though he saw no terminal, no platform, only darkness beyond. He stood, feet heavy as stone. Rain slicked the floor beneath him. He walked forward, passing the silent faces of the other passengers. As he neared the exit, the air grew colder, and the faint murmur of voices, but no words, rose around him. Then he saw it, his own face, pale and gaunt, printed on a flimsy poster taped to the wall beyond the door. Underneath, the words, "Missing," vanished without a trace. Date, 10/10. His date. A scream caught in his throat. He staggered backward, tripping over the step. The bus jolted into motion, doors creaking shut. Jacobs reached out, fingertips brushing the safety rail. He pressed his palm against it, hoping to cling, but the metal felt alive, pulsing. Outside, the city lights winked out one by one. When Jacob finally dared to look through the glass, he saw an endless expanse of tracks laid on cracked pavement, and on either side, rows of empty stalls and shuttered shops. No people, no warmth. He fell to his knees. The bus slowed, came to a stop mid-void. The driver's lantern glowed at the front. No one sat behind the wheel. A silhouette appeared in its glow, the conductor. He stepped forward, tall, slender, wrapped in an old-fashioned uniform stained at the edges. His face was featureless. No eyes, no mouth, just a smooth, reflective surface that mirrored Jacob's terror. "Your seat is taken," the conductor whispered, though his lips did not move. The voice echoed within Jacob's mind. Jacob clutched at his chest. Panic surged like a storm. He rose, ready to flee. But the aisle stretched forever. Every exit door vanished. "Another will come," the conductor said. "Another in need of the 404. And then, with a crack like thunder, the bus shuddered. Jacob's vision fractured. The last thing he saw was the conductor extending a gloved hand. Invitation or farewell, he could not tell. Outside, at the stop on Meridian Avenue, another lost soul shivered in the rain. They glanced at the empty pole, despair in their eyes, waiting for a sign. And behind them, in the distance, the faint glow of a bus numbered 404 rounded the corner, its headlights searching for a new passenger. The Whisper Game. Emma scrolled through her favorite video channel late one night, the glow of the screen reflecting off her glasses. A new upload notification blinked. Urban Legends of Elysium. She clicked play, eager to dive into another deep dive into digital folklore. Before the thumbnail even loaded, she noticed a comment from a user named No Origin User 123. "I'll be there when you least expect it." Emma frowned. The channel's comment section rarely populated until hours after release. Yet here was a message waiting for her 10 minutes before she played the video. She refreshed. The comment remained. Questions burrowed in her mind. Who was this user? How did they see content that didn't exist yet? Curiosity sparked. Emma replied, "What do you mean? The video just went live." Her message posted. She waited, but No Origin User 123 didn't respond. The next morning, the gaming forum buzzed with chatter about a new patch. Users shared screenshots. One user asked about a hidden area nobody had found. An answer popped up instantly from No Origin User 123. "Check the third panel behind the waterfall code." Moments later, someone posted a screenshot, a secret level. The clue worked. Forum regulars were astonished and delighted by this stranger's insight, unaware of how or when it was delivered. Posts began to speculate. Some thought it was a developer's beta tester. Others joked about time travelers. One user, Hex, replied directly, "How do you have insider access before we see it?" Again, no reply. By week's end, The legend of No Origin User 123 had grown. They commented on unreleased trailers, upcoming game updates, and even private blog posts before their publication. Fans started testing the phenomenon, slipping draft links to pals and watching in horror as No Origin User 123 chimed in with detailed hints. Then came the first disappearance. Hex, the skeptic who challenged the stranger, vanished from every platform overnight. His profile deleted itself. His Discord servers went silent. Friends messaged in alarm. One moment he was online, the next he was gone. Emma saw the news in the rumor mill subreddit. Hex is gone. Last thing he said was, "They know I'm onto them." A chill crept down her spine. Emma's phone buzzed with a notification. A DM from No Origin User 123. She opened it with trembling fingers. "You shouldn't dig so deep." Her heart pounded. She typed back, "Who are you? What do you want?" The reply was instantaneous. "Origin is in the void. I see all timelines before they unfold." Emma almost replied, but decided instead to investigate. She traced the account's creation date. Never. No sign-up timestamp. No join date. Just an empty blank in the user stats. She reported it to the platform moderators. They looked into it, but found no anomalies. The account was real. That evening, Emma's lights flickered. The power surged, then cut out. Her screen dimmed, then died completely. In the dark room, her phone buzzed one last message. "You can't hide what I already know." 2 more users posted about disappearing. A streamer named Jax, who had confronted No Origin User 123 in a live chat, abruptly ceased streaming. His socials went silent. And Chloe, a blogger who'd speculated the account was AI gone rogue, stopped posting mid-sentence. Stories emerged. Sudden vanishings, accounts wiped. No traces of passwords, emails, or messages. Just emptiness where people once existed online. Rumors swirled of blackouts, odd system logs, and digital footprints erased as if they never were. Emma realized the pattern. Anyone who directly confronted or replied to No Origin User 123 disappeared. Emma assembled a small group of friends. Theo, a cybersecurity expert. Lena, a data journalist. And Marco, a game developer. They agreed to bait the account, but with precautions. Air-gapped computers, cameras running, and a hidden observer ready to pull the plug. They posted a private video link on a hidden forum and waited. At 3:15 a.m., a notification pinged. No Origin User 123 commented, "Thank you for the invitation. I accept." The video auto-played, a blank screen. Marco fast-forwarded. The timestamp showed, file created tomorrow 5:47 p.m. Their blood ran cold. The account's knowledge transcended time. The group decided to face the identity head-on. They invited No Origin User 123 to a voice call in a locked room on the forum. Overhead mics recorded every word. An avatar appeared, a shifting fractal pattern with no discernible shape. A deep, distorted voice echoed, "I exist between the keys of your clocks, the pulses of your signals. You summoned me here." Theo challenged, "Show yourself. Prove you're not some viral hoax." The fractal rippled. Screens on every laptop flickered into view. displaying live feeds of empty rooms, Hex's study, Jax's streaming station, Chloe's apartment, now deserted. Then a text scrolled, "You cannot stop what is already written." Emma felt panic rising. "But we're the authors of our own stories," she shouted. "You can't erase our existence." The fractal paused, then the voice softened. "Stories shape reality, Emma. I only follow the script you give me. But you can write your own ending." At that moment, the clock struck midnight. All screens went black. The group's laptops rebooted to the login screens. They were untouched. The comment from no origin user 123 vanished. The hidden video link dissolved. Emma's phone lit up with one final DM. "The pen is yours." No origin user 123 disappeared as mysteriously as it had arrived. Online disappearances ceased. Hex, Jax, and Chloe resurfaced days later, alive but shaken. None could recall the missing time. Emma closed her laptop and exhaled. The internet felt different, alive, unpredictable. She opened a blank text document and paused over the blinking cursor. A thought crossed her mind. What would she write next? Sometimes messages arrive before they're sent. Sometimes watchers watch before anything begins. And sometimes the greatest power comes from the stories we choose to tell. After all, every username has an origin, except one. The girl who sleeps standing up. It began one gray morning in late November at Cedar Grove Elementary. The halls were still damp from rain, and the scent of old lockers mixed with chalk dust. Ellie Martinez noticed her first, a pale silhouette in the corner of room 12, head tilted, as though listening. But when Ellie blinked, the shape vanished. She told her teacher, Mrs. Hawthorne, but the woman shook her head. "No one else has reported anything, Ellie. Maybe you're just sleepy yourself." Ellie glanced at the clock. 20 minutes until recess. When she returned after recess, she saw the figure again, a girl, slender and tall for her age, standing motionless behind the teacher's desk. Her uniform hung loosely, and her long hair fell in tangled strands across her face. Ellie's classmates were oblivious, busy unwrapping snacks. "Do you see her?" Ellie whispered to her friend Omar. Omar rolled his eyes. "See who?" The girl didn't move. Ellie inched forward. She traced her finger along the edge of the girl's shadow, half expecting her hand to pass through thin air. But when Ellie reached out, she brushed cold fabric, like nylon brushing her fingertips. Then the bell rang, and with a flurry of chairs scraping, the girl slipped away. Days passed, and Ellie's obsession deepened. She began spending her free moments scanning every classroom, hallway, and nook for the silent figure. Once, in the music room, she found the girl standing amid overturned chairs, her head bowed as though listening for a faint melody. Another time, the girl lingered beneath the old oak tree in the playground, her posture unnervingly still, as though rooted to the spot. Ellie's parents worried. At dinner, her mother asked, "Why do you keep staring off into space, Ellie?" Ellie forced a smile. "Just thinking, Mom." That night, she dreamt of the girl. In the dream, the girl's eyes opened for the first time, pale, luminescent, painting the darkness in ghostly light. "Help me," the dream girl whispered, voice echoing like wind through trees. Ellie woke with a start, sweat on her brow. She sat up and listened. Silence. In her mind, the plea lingered. The next day, Ellie brought her sketchbook to school, pages filled with sketches of the girl's form, the tilt of her head, the drape of her uniform, the strange serenity in her stance. She slipped the book into her backpack, determined to find answers. During art class, Ellie stole away to the library. She combed through yearbooks and old school records, searching for any mention of a girl who matched her drawings. Her heart clenched when she found a faded photograph from 1985, a class portrait showing a girl much taller than her peers, uniform neat, hair long and straight. Written in pencil below was the name Lena Rivers. Ellie's breath caught. Lena. She hurried to the librarian, Miss Green. Who was Lena Rivers? The old woman's face paled. She was the tallest in her class, quiet, always observing. When a fall storm hit the school, part of the auditorium collapsed. Lena went missing during the evacuation. They never found her body. Ellie's blood ran cold. And after, Miss Green closed her eyes. They sealed the old wing. No one was allowed in for years. Armed with new knowledge, Ellie waited for dusk. As the last students left, she slipped away toward the old wing. She pried open the cracked door, feeling the grain of splintered wood beneath her fingertips. Inside, it was colder, as though the room itself remembered the tragedy. Under a broken skylight, the girl stood, illuminated by a silver beam. Ellie stepped forward. Lena Rivers? The girl's head shifted, and for the first time, Ellie saw those pale, deserted eyes fixing on her. Lena's lips parted. "I can't sleep." Ellie's voice trembled. "I know what happened. I know who you are, and I want to help you rest." Liked what you heard? Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and share the fear. This is Cryptic Chronicles, where the darkness never ends.